I now yield to the ranking member for his opening remark.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. Of course, Mayor Bowser, Mr. Chairman, Mr. AG, Mr. Jackson, thank you all for being here today, and of course, most importantly, for your service to Washington, D.C. and to the country. And I want to start just by setting the record straight. Washington, D.C. is a great American city of over 700,000 residents. D.C. has more residents than we know than 2 states. D.C. as a whole contributes more federal taxes than 12 states, and it pays more in federal income tax than 19 other states. More than 8,000 Washington, D.C. residents serve in our military, and we thank them for their service. But these servicemen and women also do not have full democratic representation. They deserve the right and the ability to govern themselves. Now, we also know that crime in D.C. has fallen for the last 2 years, and we all here support public safety. We all want cops to patrol our streets. We all want communities to feel safe. And we also know that flooding the city with troops is not sustainable. So look, and I've said this many times, President Trump is obsessed with trying to run Washington, D.C. And if President Trump wants to run Washington, D.C., he should resign as president and run for mayor. Now, I was the mayor of Long Beach, my hometown, before I came to Congress for 8 years. I love local government. We should, of course, all of us spend our time working with local elected officials. And Congress should not be undermining the elected representatives and the people of Washington, D.C. And if the majority today wants to talk about crime in D.C., in the district, we're happy to talk about crime in D.C. We know that some of the worst crime and corruption in D.C. is actually found at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. President Trump is profiting from his office more than anyone in history. Through his crypto grifts, he has profited $1.2 billion. He's denied the rights of American citizens and deported people illegally without due process. He has broken the law to deploy soldiers on the streets of Los Angeles. He's abused his power and canceled federal spending and intimidated Americans who disagree with him, whether you're a scientist, an elected official, or a late-night talk show host. And he's trying to illegally grab control of the Federal Reserve. He's illegally imposed tariffs. He's ripping away health care from 17 million Americans. All the while, he pretends to be tough on crime. And we know that in his first days in office, Donald Trump pardoned hundreds of his followers who beat, tased, and attacked brave D.C. and U.S. Capitol Police. And right now, since we're talking about crime and corruption in D.C., as we speak, Trump is leading a White House cover-up of the Epstein files. Now, just yesterday, Trump's FBI director falsely claimed that he could not release the files, which we know is false. And let's review the facts. Epstein told the reporter that Trump was his closest friend for 10 years. One survivor also said that Epstein's biggest brag was he was very good friends with Donald Trump. In fact, there was an 8x10 picture framed of Trump on his desk. We know the two are very close. Just last week, our committee released the birthday note that Trump personally wrote to Epstein. It's right here. The note said, by the way, and I'll read it, "May every day be another wonderful secret." That's a disgusting message to send to a sex trafficker. Now, the cover-up of this note might be just as bad as the crime, since we're talking about crime in Washington, D.C. today. Trump filed a $10 billion lawsuit to punish the Wall Street Journal for reporting on the birthday book, which he claimed didn't exist. Now, of course, we've verified that to the world. Now, experts have looked at this. Of course, this is Donald Trump's signature. It certainly looks like the signature to me. At the same time, his administration is cutting deals with a criminal, Ghislaine Maxwell. We know who she is exactly. She's a monster who participated in crimes against up to over possibly 1,000 women. Now, Trump and our Attorney General have not turned over the full Epstein files to our committee, despite a bipartisan subpoena signed by our chairman and this committee. If we want to get tough on crime, if we want to talk about crime in D.C., we need to stand up to where the crime and corruption is happening, and that is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and hold Donald Trump accountable for his record and his actions. It's time for the House majority and Republicans to stand up for the Constitution and take on the biggest crime happening in this country. It's time to release the Epstein files.